Stampers, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. I'm kind of giddy with what I'm going to share with you today. We're going to make masculine cards and we're going to use the well-suited dies. Now, if you haven't seen these yet, I think you're going to love them. It was actually the very first product I bought out of the January to June mini catalog because I just thought they looked like so much fun. Now, we're actually not even going to stamp. It's part of a bundle, so you can stamp, you can just use the dies, or you can use them together. But I want to show you how to use the dies to put together these super adorable cards for the men in your life. They're just kind of fun to play with. And if you follow me, you know I don't like the real intricate, putsy, lots of pieces, messy. But these dies, even though there seems to be quite a few pieces, they were so easy to work with, I kind of got addicted to them. I made quite a few cards and I think I'll make quite a few more. So I want to go ahead, flip the camera down. I want to start sharing with you because I think you're really going to have fun with these dies, just like I have. So let's flip it down and let's get to work. So just real quick, we are in the January to June mini catalog. And like I said, we're using the well-suited dies. And we're going to just really focus on the dies this time. I've done a couple other videos where you've seen me kind of focus more on using the stamps. But today we're going to dive into the dies. So let's set that aside. Here's what the bundle looks like. Okay, we've got dies and we've got stamp set. So even though we're focusing on these, if you do decide you want this, pick it up as a bundle because then you save 10% by buying it as a bundle. If you don't think you're going to use the stamps, just do the dies because you can do a lot with that. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a peek at this before we start making the card today. What I've done is taken all the dies and shown how you can, just cut out and put things together. And then you can also use them with the stamped images. The dies will cut out the ties, both the bow tie and regular tie, or you can make ties by just using the dies, which is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to actually put a picture of this on the blog post. So if you're not sure what all the pieces are and how they go together, you'll be able to check that out. And you'll be able to find that blog post just by going down to the description of the video, and there will be a link there to take you there, as well as pictures of the card I'm going to make for you today and some other samples I have to share with you. I think I've got 5 or 6 other ones besides what we're going to make. So like I said, this stamps, or these dies, because we're focusing on the dies, just has what I like to call a lot of parts and pieces. You can see all of them here. And I think when I first started out, I was a little intimidated. Like, how do you make anything out of all these parts and pieces? How do you put that together? So that's what I want to go through today so that you understand how these work to make these really cute cards. So for this one, we're going to use a base card. You don't always, a base card, and then we're going to put DSP on it. Sometimes if this is going to be the color of your shirt, you don't even need to put another piece on top of it. But I want this print, and this is out of the Coordinating Designer Series paper, which is a must with these dies. I want that to be my shirt. So the shirt needs to be what your base looks like. So let's just go ahead. That's a new glue. Let's use this one. And we're going to start by putting this down on there. Okay. Now then we're going to have to do a lot of cutting, and then I will show you how to adhere everything together. So that's our shirt, believe it or not. So now we're going to bring in a scrap piece of this, and all shirts need a collar. Okay. So this right here is our collar piece. So we're going to put that right there. And then all shirts need, I don't even know what you call it, the piece down the middle where the buttons go. So we want that to coordinate with our shirt, same fabric, so to speak, as our shirt. So we would go ahead and just run this through the Stampin' Cut machine to get those 2 pieces. Now, so you don't have to see me doing all of that. We're going to use the magic of TV. And there is my collar. Okay, it's going to go that way. And then here is that, do they call it a placket? I don't know, where our buttons are going to go. So that's going to go down the middle of our shirt. So why don't we go ahead and actually attach that right away. Now with this piece, you'll notice this is straight across, and then this kind of points down. So that is the top of our collar. And I do like to use dimensionals with this. You'll see here where some of the pieces I use dimensionals and some of them I'll glue it down exactly, what do I want to say? Exactly flat. So let's go ahead and stick that in the middle like so. And then we're going to take our little place where our buttons are going to go. And I think this is longer than I need. So, and we're going to just stick it right up there underneath the collar and come straight down with it. And then I'm just going to trim off. We'll just use our snips here and we can trim off this. So we're making our shirt first. So let's make sure that's kind of straight. Move that over a little bit. Okay, there is our shirt. So next, why don't we go ahead and make our tie? And I think for this one, let's make a bow tie. This is going to be kind of a fancy formal suit and tie, we'll call it. So I'm going to use the smaller of the bow ties. And then there also, and I think this piece will still fit on there, there's the little center piece. And again, this is just kind of set up to give you more dimension. So we'll use some dimensionals. We'll bring in our little mini Stampin' Cut machine here. And you know, this is perfect for when I do videos because then I don't need to have my big machine over here. So we're going to go ahead and we'll cut out, I think that's going to fit in there. There we go. And run that through. And I think actually all the dies will fit in the mini, but we'll see here. Okay, so let's put those aside. So now we have our tie. Well, if you want to put a little texture on that tie, because, you know, we're all about fabric and texture, let's go ahead and, let's see, I have the subtles. Let's use the subtles embossing folder for this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick these pieces in there. Now, I do have to run over to my bigger machine because this won't fit through that mini. So I'll be right back. Now, a little tip here, you do want to cut them out first and then emboss them, because if you do it the other way around, your embossing is going to kind of flatten out and you won't see it as much. So then let's see, do we want that part raised up? Let's see, I'm actually kind of creating this card as we go. You know, I think that one needs to be flat. So let's go ahead and we're going to just put a little dab of adhesive there and we will glue that right down there to the center of our tie. Okay, there's our bow tie. And now if we come back over here, let's go ahead and let's see, will these fit? I think the regular size, yep, the regular size will fit on there. Sometimes with some of these pieces, you're gonna have to use the mini dimensionals. And then we're gonna, ooh, you know what? I don't like that. Let's take those off, because I want this to go over that collar. I don't want those dimensionals. Whoops, let's see. I don't want the dimensionals to be where the tie hits the collar, because then it's going to be raised up too much. So why don't we go and use the mini? Okay, so we'll put a mini in there. I think this is going to lay better that way, because we want it to go right up to the tie there, and then these ends to just kind of flap there a little bit. Okay, so there is our shirt and our tie. So next we want to make the suit jacket on there. Now, the samples I have to show you when I'm done here, I've used quite a few different prints from the package of Designer Series paper, but this time we're going to just use a piece of basic gray because I want this to be just that classic suit. So the first thing you need to do for your suit is you are going to cut a V out of the center of it, okay? So this, I think I need to run this over to the bigger machine. So let me go do that. Okay, there we go with that piece. This is what's going to be our suit jacket. And it's gonna go on there just like so. But because this is just kind of flat, we're gonna go ahead and add some texture to that as well. So what I'm gonna use, I think this is called the textile or texture embossing folder. I will have all these products listed over on my website so you'll be able to easily see what I all used. So you can check over there for the right names. Sometimes I forget all of them. So I'm gonna go run this through and I'll be right back. Boy, I'm gonna get my exercise in today doing this video. So my big machine doesn't fit on my video table. Ah, look at that. So that is gonna go there. Now you can't really see the where the buttons are gonna go that much, but if you do look at it, it's definitely there. So let's go ahead and I think we can glue this down next. Now you could, if you were making this cut out all of your pieces at one time. But I thought this would probably help you understand how these dies all work together and build if I do one piece at a time. So there we go. That is looking like our suit jacket. Now the next piece we're going to use is this one. So this becomes the little, where it folds back. I don't know the official names here. So with this, because I want to make this one a really, elegant, okay, maybe a wedding card we could do with this. We're going to cut this out of basic black. And I did do that already. So I have a black piece right here. Check this out, how cool this looks on here. So we're talking fancy dancy. And we're not gonna emboss this one because it's almost, to me, it's almost that silky, real smooth finish that this one's gonna go on. Now, for this, again, to get some texture, I like to use the dimensionals up towards the top, okay? So we'll put these all up there. And then we're going to peel these off, and down towards the bottom, I'm going to actually just put a little dab of adhesive because I want this to stick flat. That's kind of a lot there. I don't want it to goosh out. Let's make sure we kind of pick some of that up. Okay, then when you put this on here, you just want to match up those edges. So let's see, I'm kind of at a weird angle here so that you can see me. So we'll match that edge up, match that edge up. Then we come down, there we go. You can see how this part sticks, but this is raised up. So you can kind of see the texture we got going there, lots of different layers, okay? So next, our little suit jacket needs a pocket. So I already did do that one. We've got the pocket die. So I did cut that out, and I did the same embossing folder on it. And then this little piece is like the top of the pocket. You can use this, or you don't necessarily have to use it. But I thought by doing this and not embossing it, it adds, again, a little bit more texture. That's a little bit flat. We're going for this elegant look. So let's just put a teeny tiny bit of adhesive on there, and we'll put that across the top, like so. Okay, so this is gonna be our pocket. Now we need a little scarf coming out of the pocket. So I think we need to make that coordinate with our red. So the way to do that, there is not a specific dye for scarves. So you use the collar dye. Let's see, this one will fit in our mini. Oh my gosh, do I have a mess here? You should see there is dimensionals everywhere. So let's go ahead, we're gonna flip that over. Little tip for your mini, and actually your big machine too. With my 2 plates, I always keep the cutting one on the bottom, one that gets all marred up, and I try to flip it. Like every time I use it, I flip it over to the other side. That will make those plates last a lot longer. And then when this one that's all cut up gets, really kind of bad looking, then I go ahead and I put this one down there, and I'll put a new one at the top. That way I'm always replacing one at a time. I got to do this with my right hand here. So let's go ahead and roll that through. So now with this collar piece, the only thing you need to do, well, you can either snip it or you can actually even tear it apart. And then this is going to be 2 little peaks, I guess we'll call it, that come out. You can kind of play around, do it however you want, but like the 2 little corners you want coming out of there like so to be your scarf. Is that what you call it? Ooh, we got to put the adhesive on the right side here. So I'm just going to put a little adhesive on the back, and then we're going to go ahead and make sure they don't stick out the side there. So put that one there, put a little more adhesive on there. Yeah, let's see. This one, we'll kind of get it to go that way. There we go. We've got our fancy little scarf. And now let's pop this pocket up a little bit too, I think, to give it just a little bit more dimension. So let's put dimensionals on there. Now this card, like I said, would be great for a wedding or for any type of celebration for that special guy in your life, okay? So there is our pocket. Now, one more thing. Oh, look at that, dimensionals. So we've used a lot of these pieces. So you can see here, this was our pocket. This was the little piece that went across the pocket. Okay, so we'll call that kind of silky like this piece is. Now, the only other thing we need to add are some buttons. And I do have some of those pre-cut as well. let's bring those in here. These are so teeny tiny. I like to use a little tweezers. So what I'm going to do is just pick one up, and there is a right side and a wrong side because you get a little bit of like stitching on that button. And we're going to put just a little dab, don't need much. And then we're going to go ahead and put our buttons. We'll call this sewing our buttons on. So let's take the next one. And now for this particular card, I'm not going to add any words. I kind of just like the elegance of it. But you could certainly on the front of this add another layer that says, happy birthday, congratulations, thinking of you, or whatever you want, okay? Or you can just leave the front nice and plain like this and put a message on the inside of the card. So let's go ahead. I think one more button. There we go. Oh, little goosh. There we go. There we go. There is our elegant, fancy, formal, I guess would be the more appropriate term, masculine card. Now, let me show you some of the other ones I've made. Now, I will have pictures of all of these over on that blog post, so just check the description to find it, and you'll be able to see all of these. But now, you'll be able to make any of these now that you know how I did it. Here, I use the designer series paper for the tie, okay? I love the prints in this paper. And here you can see my shirt is white, so our card base is just white. I did not have to add that extra layer like I did here with the designer series paper. And then I use Night and Navy. In the tie, again, I've got two pieces. So this bottom tie, I adhered down, and then that little piece I popped up on a dimensional. And some of these I added a greeting, and these are from the stamp set. Then this little guy, we got kind of a lot going, but here you can see how beautiful that paper that goes with this suite is. It makes the perfect kind of tweed looking jacket. And again, I don't have an extra layer because my card, and I'll put something in the inside before I use these, but you can see my shirt down there, and again, a tie out of the designer series paper, and then used a different floral print for the pocket. Now this one, because I don't have buttons on a shirt because the tie is there, I added a couple of buttons to the jacket, okay? So there's those. Here's another great print in that designer series paper. So now we have a pinstripe suit. And again, this one, I didn't put the pocket, I put just the little slit. You know how some men's suits just have that little slit, you don't see the whole pocket. So that's what I did on that one. And this one, we got a little bit more formal. We've got the white shirt underneath. The buttons and the stitching there shows up a little bit better than on that designer series paper. But here I did stamp the tie before I cut it out with the die. So it just kind of defines that tie a little bit more. But today I wanted to show you how you can just use the dies. And then finally, the last one, this one I made thinking of our healthcare workers or a doctor. Thank you. I didn't use, you can see where I just didn't use this piece. So it looks more like a lab coat. This would also make like a great congratulations card when someone's going to some sort of health professional school or whatever. So look at how much fun I had. And I'm sure I am not done. These dies are just super fun to play with. So again, if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to me. You'll find all the information and all of these, the list of products I used over on my website, links down in the description of the video. And if you are new to following me, I hope you've enjoyed all the tips I've shared today. Make sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, let me know if you like my videos, and don't forget to share them with your crafty friends. So I look forward to stamping with you again real soon. Have a stamp happy day.